Hmm.
So yeah, this is your brother Oga from Hip Hop News Uncensored. We're actually sitting here live with a former manager that used to own four, not own but manage four Starbucks, and now owns his own coffee business called Darrin's Coffee Shop. I want to introduce
Yeah.
his brother right now so we can actually talk about this incident that's been causing headlines and shockwaves to America, the Starbucks incident in Philadelphia. Darrin, Marrion, how you doing today?
Oh man, I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. My man, it's good to hear from you, Darren, man. Thank you for coming on. For the listeners that don't know you, why don't you get a little bit of your credentials in the coffee business and then
Okay. Right on. Well, I started at Starbucks. I started at Starbucks as a barista, 7.35 an hour. Within a month, I made it to the management program. Went through the Starbucks manager program. Got moved all around the stores when I started asking, questions about where the black people at. Where the black managers. In Indianapolis, where I'm at, 27% of the city is black. Well, 27% of Starbucks is not black. So that's an issue to me. If Starbucks says that they're going to be, if they say that they're going to be a diverse company and everybody want partners, then they should represent the community. Where I live at, man, is it's a dense, well-to-do black community. However, the Starbucks around the way, in this area, they do not look like it doesn't look like the community at all. And I think that's one of the issues, man. Is Starbucks, and then now I'm also roasting coffee. So, we went and started Darren's Coffee Company. Went to three locations. Won best coffee shop in Indianapolis 3 years in a row. Was one of the best coffee roasters in the United States. Won awards for best America's best espresso. Also, the only black-owned coffee company in the state of Indiana. So,
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now I'm sure you've seen the video that happened in Starbucks in Philadelphia, and I asked you, offline, being as though you run your own coffee shop and that you run, you manage four Starbucks over your career there. What went wrong, and what exactly is the policy first in Starbucks if somebody comes in and sits there and doesn't buy something right away? What is the procedure that a manager is supposed to do?
the policy is to welcome them into the. It's Starbucks says that they're the third place. So a third place means it's not a bar, it's not a restaurant. It's that third place where you could go to, if you want to be like a community spot. So that's what Starbucks they aspire to be. I'm a shareholder. I'm still own stock in Starbucks, so that's how I can talk to that still because as a shareholder, that's what Starbucks. Those are the principles that Starbucks is supposed to uphold. Supposed to be a third place.
Okay, so what would you say to those who seen the video, we
Hmm.
seen the manager and what she did at the time, didn't allow these people or allow these brothers to go in there and use the bathroom with the one gentleman? What do you say to those that say, well, they should have bought something? Why did they?
No, that's yeah, that has no bearing on what Starbucks is there for. As a third place, as a community place, it's supposed to be a community hub. So as a third place, no, man, the bathroom should be open. If you go to downtown Indianapolis, right on the circle, you go to Starbucks bathroom. Period. It shouldn't be, there shouldn't be a restriction on to where, when and where someone go to the bathroom. Last time they started doing that, they had big signs above the bathroom door that said, if you go in this bathroom, if you look like kind of this way. And that began with a C and ended with a D.
Right, right. Now, would you say, because there's a lot of people of different ethnicities, races that are leaving a lot of comments under the video, and would you say that this happens? Is it because they are black men that this happened? Would you say that?
Yeah, most definitely, man. The closest thing that Starbucks had to becoming to integrate, really integrating as a company, is when, it's funny you say that integrate as a company, but was when Magic Johnson uh, came in as as a partner out of California. He had opened up a ton of Starbucks all in the urban communities. So that was about the closest thing that Yeah, the Starbucks would be, man. I mean, it's to me, it's I'm not surprised.
Now, is there a policy in place, Darrin, in the manual or anything in Starbucks manual that says anything about the use of a bathroom or having to pay or anything like that that they would
No,
go through in argument?
no, not at all, not at all, and
Mm.
I'm not at all. No.
Okay, so we've seen the video. We've seen that the young brothers came out today on Good Morning America and talked about the situation at length. You know what I mean? And that just made it even more sick to think about it. And we also hear a situation that happened out in California. So as a manager in your position, owning coffee shops, now owning your own brand, what would you do in a manager position dealing with that situation? Two people coming in and using the lavatory and customers from a customer service perspective.
I would make them feel at home. I
Mm.
would welcome them. I would say, hey, hey, welcome to, Darren's Coffee. Welcome to Starbucks, man. I will go and talk to them. At Starbucks, something that Starbucks is supposed to do as coffee masters, they're supposed to do an hourly coffee tasting. I don't know if you know that or not, but yeah, they're supposed to do a coffee tasting. So they're supposed to take the coffee around and have people sample the coffee within there. So that's a great opportunity to connect, as Starbucks says, to connect with a customer and say, that's a great thing. Hey, let's do a coffee tasting. You may
Right,
have won a
right.
customer for life. I mean, good chance you would have.
Yeah, and that's what I said. I said, you would be more focused on building that relationship with the customer as opposed to trying to push them out and make them buy something. Like you said, you would even give them something free.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah, I give them a cup of coffee, no problem, man. Yeah, and that's the thing. At Starbucks, that's the principles that Howard Schultz, who founded the company. Like I said, Howard Schultz, man, is from the projects, man. He was from the same projects as his father was like a maintenance man. And when his father broke his leg and he was out of work for all these years, that's why he swore up and down at that point. That's when Starbucks he would always provide insurance for people. So if you think about a company was founded by a guy with those kind of principles, with that kind of heart, he worked his way up from the projects, man. I mean, for real, he went to Eastern Michigan, Eastern Michigan on a football scholarship. So if it wasn't for a football scholarship, man, he would have been. So that's not what the company's supposed to be about. However, that's what the
right.
company has become.
What type of being as though you're a manager now, you run your own successful coffee business. What type of changes would you like to see or needs to be put in place at in Starbucks, that management level, to prevent this from happening again to anybody else?
First thing is that store would have to be broken up. That store in general was broken up because for that to happen, that store has a culture that's inside. That's the culture of that store. For someone to feel that comfortable to get on the phone to call to make that phone call, that means that's something that's going around inside the store. Company wide, um, there's got to be some more involvement with the black communities. Starbucks needs to make a concerted effort to make their stores look like their customer base.
Right.
Darrin, I want to talk about the police real quick because
Okay.
we seen the manager feel as though she had to call the authorities. Is there any a situation that you found yourself ever having to call the police? What kind of situation was that? Let's elaborate that on a little bit. And if you
Yeah.
never have, is there a policy in place in Starbucks in particular where they have a certain line that they draw where authorities are called?
Yeah, I believe that now, going to that to where they will call someone. I believe it is something if you feel like your life's in danger. Someone is in danger of harming someone in the store, they're making damage to the store, then yeah, that's when you would call the police. I know that's when I would call. As a matter of fact, I never called the police when I had a shop. Uh, yeah, I had somebody come in and bust up the joint when I wasn't there. I mean, and still police never got called. I put people out of the shop. Um, but that was I put one guy out of the shop, and me having coffee shops, man, three of them for 5 years. Put one person out, and he was because he was pissy drunk. So
Mhm.
what bothers me though is like what Meek Mill said in his interview. Um, let's imagine if them brothers was on probation, man. Imagine if they were on probation. That's the interaction with the police. And the interaction with the police, that's a violation, no matter what. They could, and they just sitting there waiting on their friend, man. That's a violation of probation. And as you can see, it appears that the Philly courts is not giving shorts when it comes to violation of probation, man. They really just breaking cats off, man.
Right. Talk about the training that they're going to put in place for the employees. Because again, you are a manager.
Yeah.
Just explain that. Explain, is that, do you think that's serious what they're doing that one day that they're taking off for this supposed training?
Yeah. I think I showed you this, man. This is when Starbucks changed up the way that they did frappuccinos. Yeah, the way they did frappuccinos, they closed up all the locations, excuse me, man.
You good, bro?
Yeah, they closed up all the locations, man, for one day, just to teach us how to make frappuccinos. So you basically putting, the black, you put black community on the same par with frappuccino. To me, it needs to be something that needs to be a concerted effort. Not just we're gonna take a day and we're gonna talk about it, because that's a culture, man. It's a cultural thing. The company has become that.
And from what you're saying is, and when you're going over these policies and procedures as we're asking you, it seems like the manager in Philadelphia was completely out of line, completely biased, completely
Oh
threatened
yeah.
by these individuals strictly based off the color of their skin. I mean, there's no way else to put it. They simply asked to use the bathroom. They were told no. There was no resistance, nothing going on. They sat down. They waited for their company around 4:45, 4:37. The police were called, and they were escorted out with any explanation. So
Why couldn't they use the bathroom, man?
she used the bathroom.
Yeah.
Business meeting.
Yeah.
And didn't put up any fight, no resistance, nothing. And sat down to wait for their company, and 10 minutes later they're behind bars with no explanation. And didn't even put up a fight and resist then.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, man.
Yeah. It's a
Definitely
bathroom, man.
We gotta listen to the testimony. Like I said, they were on Good Morning America today, and they gave their statement in full, and they talked about the cops, and we were talking about the cops and just how policing is. And let's talk about the police where you're from, and how we're treated out there.
Well, out here, man, it's no. We got a couple things. We have a different kind of relationship with the police force out here. In Indiana, we have what's called the Castle Doctrine. So, the Castle Doctrine states if you feel that someone is going to harm, a public official is going to harm your person in any way, shape, or form, you're allowed to respond with physical force, with deadly force. So, and that's protecting your life, liberty, and your home. I know that in my coffee shops, the police were not allowed. And that was just a matter of fact. The police were not allowed in my coffee shop.
Why is that?
Because for one, man, I don't like what they stand for. They stand for kidnapping someone, putting them in a cage, and holding that person for ransom. I'm not going to bring that kind of energy into wherever I'm at. And if I have a choice to who I am and who I'm not going to serve, then I chose not to serve them. One of my friends later, he got on me about my policy. Then I would only let them come in and get a cup of coffee. But then, of course, they did pay double.
Hey, I don't blame you. I don't blame
you. Yeah, no, and they did pay double.
And that's interesting because you see a lot of coffee shops, and traditionally coffee shops are real accommodating police officers. Free coffee, free donuts for the police.
Yeah. So well, they're on the clock, man. I mean, if I'm bribing somebody, if I give them something to be there, then I'm bribing a public official, a public servant, to come and protect me. That's not how it works.
What's called in Indiana again, Darrin?
What's that?
What's that law called again?
The castle. That's called the Castle Doctrine.
Castle Doctrine. Awesome.
Yep.
Right. What they don't have in New Jersey, they do have it in Pennsylvania, though. It's pretty much somebody breaks in your house. It's almost like the self-defense law, pretty much.
Now, in Pennsylvania, do they also have it in regards to law enforcement?
Yeah, it should be. If it's,
And they fought it, hard here in Indiana, man. They fought it hard, but the castle. We do have the Castle Doctrine. But Indiana is also one of the states that has one of the most liberal laws to restore gun rights to felons. So after a person's been after they've had their record expunged, then they can now hold their rights are restored to hold guns.
That is dope. That's dope right there. Why don't you let everybody know where they can find you?
Okay. One, they can find me at hiphopun.com.
Yes, sir.
Darrinscoffee.com. So that's Darrinscoffee.com, the official coffee.
Yes, sir.
Y'all got it right there too. So yeah,
Yes,
I'm a
sir.
coffee roaster. So this is the only black owned coffee company in the state of Indiana. Um, won awards, man. We get it done. So